Can you see the video?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that's the little demo where we show you the 4 memory spots. It's a demo for people that are not very familiar with the technique, and also this was very effective for our investors. And we said, like, memorize these 4 spots. So the side of the pool, and then you go to the launch area, then the plant, and the seating area. And then the second step, we put like the associative images in it. So the side of the pool, we put a fire hydrant, and we put the helicopter in the launch area, and then we put lithium batteries in here, and then we put the berries onto that red sofa. You might have seen the snippets that's on our website, on our landing page of this.
I have seen this. Yeah.
Okay, but this is the 3-step approach actually that we have shown, and I always explain that I put these berries onto the seating here and the white thing on purpose, because it triggers something very strongly in my head, because I have small kids at home and I know exactly what will happen next. So I will remember that the berries on that white sofa a lot better. And in a third step, and that's what you have seen on the website, is then when you link like these words to those associated images. It would even be stronger to build the story out of this, like taking the helicopter who delivers the batteries and maybe crashes the berries in there, but we are not there yet. I think that's the strong part of Sketch Medical, that they can create these stories. So this is the interface that Carsten will show you in a second. When you are in that world, we have chosen that on the left there is like this slideshow kind of PowerPoint progression, and then you have a notepad where people can write and give you tips how to make it better. But it's also a notepad for you where you can put your items in. And then I think the person here thinks that the deltoid muscle is shaped like a kite. I think you see it on the picture there. That's why there's a kite. And this is, I think, an earlier version of the community platform that is currently on there. This looks a lot better. So we have, this is a mock-up, of course. It doesn't look that good on our website right now, but we are working on it to make it a little bit better. But these are like the content cards that the people have created. But what a lot of people actually oversee or overlook is that when you are in a 3D world and you put items in there and you interact with others and you try to memorize and you test yourself and stuff, that you leave a lot of data in there that shows your learning behavior, your strengths and your weaknesses and stuff. And we believe, we have only started now, but we believe that we can use that data to make you a better learner. So basically do machine learning algorithms and stuff that help you become better. Does this make sense? So a learning profile.
Yes, it makes sense.
So we have a scheduler basically that, yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah. So I just wanted to ask really quickly. So at those macro stations, will you be able to modify, to change like those berries into something else if you feel so? If you feel like you want to change that the berries on the table into something, for example, maybe apples. Can you put apples there instead?
So that would be the ideal scenario. We're working on that, to take a library of 3D elements and put it in there. So the starting point that we do now is that we started with like 2D images that you put in there. That's a lot easier also for people to places and stuff, and it's a lot easier for us as a starting point in our software. But yes, in the future, definitely you should be able to interact with those 3D elements. So for example, if you have a drawer, you take like one of the how is it called actually in English, a drawer? You take this slider things out, or sure. You open a wardrobe or something and put stuff in it. So, so those interaction points are really important, I think, in the future. But it's of course a lot more difficult to put like those elements in right now. So,
okay. But there is a 2D image library that you can input in the 3D space.
Okay. Yeah. Very nice then.
So,
okay, but now I want to show you the future stuff. So that's just like laying the groundwork, okay. Your personal profile. So our idea is to have a study planner, because when we have all that strengths and weakness in your personal profile, we can do a lot to help you study. So how it works, you add your exam date, you add, it's a community platform, so you add your friends to that you have the exam with. You select content, like obviously this is some kind of an anatomy exam, so you pick those memory journeys that maybe others have created or from your own library, and then there's a little grinding, and the system prepares your optimal schedule. And this is I can zoom in a bit, but this is the stuff that to many students I would talk to is very exciting, because they are saying, okay, so we put the exam date in here, and we could calculate the ideal starting point and the repetition cycles. Because based on your profile and your previous knowledge, we know how your forgetting curve is going to be. So we can suggest you when it's the best time to repeat. So it's better than just feeling that you need to repeat, and you probably repeat too many times, and it makes learning a little bit inefficient. Mm-hmm. This is an idea of how a microbiology exam, for example, could look like. So you have these 7 memory palaces in it. The system tells you when it would be the best time to learn, and then I find this really exciting, because then we can do that, meaning like we can send you forgetting alerts to go back into, and it's relatively easy to just run into that film or into that world when you're like on a phone and stuff, and just repeat it. It's not difficult.
Okay, how often are we reviewing? So I see that there's little circles in that previous slide. So slide 25. Mm-hmm. So the little circles, is that determining how many times so one little circle is one time you're reviewing the actual material?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah
exactly. That seems good. Yeah, I mean, in general, how do you know the exact algorithm for how often we're reviewing this? So like, is it for example like twice a week, or is it 3 times a week, or a certain many times per month? So it seems that there's 2 times per month. Is that right?
Yeah, so there are existing algorithms existing out there. It's called like the forgetting curve.
Okay.
Yeah, and it can calculate actually from the first time you see a content to when you would forget it. And normally it's like when you learn something new that has difficulties to, then it's like garbage collected. I think you lose 70% of what you have learned in the first 24 hours if you do not repeat. So it is recommended that you repeat the learning relatively fast after your initial learning, and then the times and the intervals between get longer. So the more you repeat, the longer it sticks in your brain, and that's the algorithms that can calculate that. It's just not very precise, because it depends on your previous knowledge and how easy you understand things. If you start something that you have no idea, like the first semester university medical students, for example, they struggle most because they have nothing where the new content can anchor in. So that's where memory palaces, for example, would be very helpful. But our algorithms would figure that out, that you're new into a certain field, that you need more repetitions, and that way it can adapt the reminders and how often you learn, and it makes learning so much more efficient.
Now my question is this an algorithm that your team created, or is this an algorithm that's based off of a current algorithm that exists already? That was my question.
So there's this guy, his name was Hermann Ebbinghausen. He lived in the 19th century, and he did crazy memory tests on himself, and he came up with an algorithm. And it's a very general algorithm, and it's a lot of people say it's not precise, but it's a very general algorithm how our brain treats with content that is completely new. So this is the baseline, and what we do, we take like more data points from you interacting with that content to find out how well it is anchored in your head. And again, if you have previous knowledge, for example, if you want to just freshen up your medical knowledge a couple of years after your studies, of course, it sticks a lot longer. It's much easier for you to repeat, and that's why the forgetting curve algorithms is totally different than a first semester student who is confronted with completely new content. So we take the existing one, and then, which is a very generalized one, and then specify it and make it personal to you and your learning success.
Excellent. Thank you for your answer.
Okay. Yeah, welcome. I love talking about that stuff. So if you have more questions,
okay. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about that algorithm, just because there's other algorithms that I've heard of, from Anthony Medavir. There's the Anki algorithm. There's a super memo algorithm, where they, try their best to find I guess the best algorithm there are. But it seems that you said that you're using a baseline algorithm from Hermann, what was that again?
Ebbinghausen is his name. Hermann Ebbinghausen.
Ebbinghausen. How do you spell
Ebbinghausen. Ebbing with double B. Maybe I can write somewhere here.
Okay, Ebbinghaus, the German
Exactly.
psychologist. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're using an algorithm, the baseline algorithm for the forgetting curve based off of Hermann Ebbinghaus.
Exactly.
Okay, good. I just wanted to really know this, because if I were to explain this again to someone else, I would want to make sure that, I would have the right answers for that. Okay.
But we drastically changed it, and we build on top of it. And I think every good company nowadays every learning company should have their learning algorithms to help you learn, and to, for example, if you learn via video, the system should find out that a majority of, viewers, for example, has a problem at video position number 8 minutes, video position 8 minutes, and then you know that your video is dysfunctional in that sense. But the thing is that if you learn via videos, or you learn via flashcards, for example, or via digital texts or something, the amount of information about your learning and your learning progression is really, really minimal. But we know it also from computer games. The touch points with data on your behavior with others and in those 3D worlds is like enormous. So what we get is like a factor 10 or something, or if not more, of data points, and that's why we can be much more specific or much more helpful in your learning.
Thank you for sharing that. That's sounds very good. Sounds very solid in foundation.
And it's exciting. I think it's really, really exciting to, do you know like fitness apps and stuff? I think there's one in Denmark that is popular. It's called Endomondo, or there's Rantastic, or so. All of these fitness apps help you to train better and get in better shape. And with sensors, your body is like well known to these platforms and stuff, and then they can help you. And we believe we can do the same thing with your brain and with your mind to actually help you get better and train it in the right way.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. And now, I guess, what's next on the agenda? Should we look over the software? Should we look over the website resource to see what the features are for Memorix?
Yeah, if Carsten can make it run.
Yes, I can definitely. Let me invite you in here.
Okay.
The baseline of all of this that I want to maybe it's not totally clear yet, but with our background from Lego, we believe in playful learning, and there's so much value in also playing computer games and getting your strengths up in computer game stuff. So I think that's the biggest critique that I have towards the educational system. It's that boring and it's outdated. So that's one of the things that we believe the 3D worlds and what we want to produce is like bringing the fun back in learning, and that means also that it's much more efficient, of course, and much better when it's more engaging.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. Making your learning experience more fun as possible, so that you become as novel as you can, but at the same time studying at the same time, making sure that all the information that you're learning is placed into your long-term memory at the same time. So that's excellent. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. So that's
I'm looking at Carsten's screen right now, and just to interject quickly, this is a language agnostic platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of the titles here are in Danish, but that's just because we had some Danish creators, but any language can be input.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you're seeing here is the the library of content that other users have created so far. It is mostly medical students that has been working with this. So that is why it's medical content, as Alli is saying. It's Danish students, so that's why the titles here are Danish, but they could just as well be English instead. But what we can do here is we just make sure to log in here. There you go.
Yeah, okay.
Of course.
Thank you.
I'll go.
And right now you're looking at our app. So this is downloadable. This isn't the website, which has a slightly different, faster flow.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is a separate app that we have, and as you probably know, we are still in development. So unfortunately, it's two different databases. So when you visit our website, you need to create an account there, and in here you need to create an additional account. We will, of course, eventually put those two together, but right now they are living as two separate. But what you can do in here is you can see all the content. You can see my content. Now I've been playing around with a lot of different worlds and creating some sample material here that you can see. We could go and visit the office here. This is one of the latest one that I made. And what you do here is that you can then say that you want to start learning, and now you can go into Memorix and you can see the worlds here. What the interface that we've made here is very much similar to PowerPoint, so that you have your memory spots out here, and you can navigate to the memory spots here by clicking them. And this is while you're in learn mode. So imagine that you had created this world here, and you could say, now I want to learn. You can say play, and then the software says, it gives you a timer here that runs down, and then it switches to the next spot, and then you need to memorize what is here. This is Carsten, this is my spot, and this is where Susie is working. And so in this way you can move around. But then imagine that you see this world here and you say, well, this is great, Carsten has made this, but I actually want to create memory spots in different places. And then you go change from learn to create mode here, and see that now things change here. It says insert, and what you can do now is that you can actually navigate the 3D world freely.
Oh, nice. Yeah, wow.
In this way you can navigate and you can explore and you can get to know the place, and in that way you can make it your own, because you can walk the palace and eventually really get to know the intricate detail of each of the worlds. And once you are familiar with the world, you can say, okay, I have the free spots that I overtook over here. I actually want to delete this one here. Let's take that away, delete this, yeah. And then maybe we want to create a new spot here with this card here. So we add a spot, we put some text in, and we say, hi, Wunami. Then go.
Nice.
Maybe we put an image in here. Search for memory. Let's see what that is. It could be this sad guy here we put in. And
okay.
And in that way, you have both text and images that you can put in each of the locations. And
one day also sound.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually also sound, so that you get really immersed and you get and we activate as many senses as possible at the same time. So this is how you can take the world and you can navigate around. And what we talked about before was that there's a vast library of worlds already. So you can see here that we have a list of loads. We have like 15 worlds that you can choose from. And before we were looking at you showed the video from the Western town. This is just one of them. So if we want to go in there and create a memory journey, we can do that as well. And see, now we're inside the memory journey. We call it Make Journey. And now you can again move freely in the world, explore it, and decide where you want to make the memory spots, so that you can imagine what is the story that you want to tell. So there's this sheriff that comes to town. He probably sees this card here first. And we put some text here. This is about, I want to bake an apple pie, so I need to buy apples.
This is actually, this is actually a very big place. Are you able to go into that building right now?
Yeah, this building over here. Yes,
yeah, can you go in there? I just want to observe the area. Wow,
Yeah.
okay, so it seems that you can actually make one whole memory palace in just this house in general. And
Yes.
so it seems that you can probably make multiple memory palaces in this world by itself, because
Yeah.
there's as many houses here too. Very cool, very cool.
Yeah, and the thing is that what we've done right now is that we're offering, you saw the library of different worlds. We're going to expand that going forward, but eventually what we want to, this is an open content creator platform. So there's the platform where you can create the memory journeys, but what we also want to do is to work with architecture students or other people working with visualizations, and they could create worlds in here as well that they could share for other people to explore and use for memory palaces as well.
Oh, really? Creating your own world? That might be pretty
Yeah.
difficult, but if you can make it very user friendly, that would be very convenient for sure.
Yeah, and maybe you find a fantastic world. So maybe you're inspired by Notre Dame or the Eiffel Tower, and maybe someone creates that world, the Eiffel Tower, and then you can use that as a memory palace that you're walking the Eiffel Tower while you're learning.
Oh, there's wow.
So yeah, here, you can add a spot anywhere you like and use our image library. But I also think that I don't know if we've walked you. Sorry I've joined the call late, but if we've walked you through sort of the quick version that we have on the web, which is a bit faster. You input keywords and then are sort of given a memory palace.
Mm-hmm.
We're just like laughing at
Yeah.
what Carsten is doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just in making sure that you get an overview of sort of what we've been working on. Have you seen that yet?
That feature?
Yeah.
No, I've not seen that. I don't think so, right? I don't think I've seen that feature
Yeah,
yet.
no, we haven't covered that yet. So maybe we should jump to the web tool, and you can see this is how you can create a memory journey in our desktop software. But it is actually very, very fast to create memory journeys on in our web tool as well. So maybe if Aili, if that is something that you could show us.
Yeah, I can definitely show you. If you just give me 1 second.
Yeah, then I'll stop sharing here.
Okay. Also, another quick question. So, copng. So, you mentioned that you worked in virtual reality. So, have you thought about using this Memorix and incorporating virtual reality into it? There's a lot of studies
Yeah.
involving the use of virtual reality for memory techniques in general, and I for one actually used virtual reality for memory techniques before, and it has been proved very effective just because there are preset places just like these places in, I guess, games. And so I actually did do that, but then with Memorix in general, it's very organized. I can freely just go back into this site and just open up what I need to open up, and it seems that I can incorporate a lot of the new information and put it on a text box to make sure I know this material, I know this site, I know this microstation as well as this macro station. So so is this incorporated with virtual reality as well, or augmented reality?
Yeah, so we are actually doing a lot of R&D for that. I'm just going to speak to that for a second. So we're doing a lot of R&D for that. First off, we were able to get all of our virtual worlds into VR headsets. That was like a first step. And we've also created a sort of like a UX flow for an augmented reality design.
Mm-hmm.
I personally have been researching like the effects of this with other platforms as well, and see a lot of benefits and potential there. As far as Memorix is concerned, I think a lot of the priority that we have is being a community platform that can be in the hands of the users. So something that isn't hardware dependent. And that's
Absolutely.
why, as much as we invest in researching ways in which we can incorporate high-end VR experiences, I think a lot of our research goes more into AR. So how could we maybe experiment with the user using their real life, a student using their real life environment? Also, yeah, so we've been doing some testing for this. But yeah, I mean, I'm always curious to hear thoughts, and oftentimes, yeah, it'd be interesting to hear like what you would like to see happen, for example. And then we can figure out how to make that happen, maybe for fun. But yeah, just to so I had a folder of images that would have been nice to use, but I'm just going to share my screen and see what happens. This is not entirely polished.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
Go live. All right. So basically we're on the website here. We have my library. We have explore. Here are some journeys that have been created. But let's say I don't see what I'm looking for here. I've searched my university, but it just doesn't seem like we have what I'm looking for. So what I can do, a really quick, easy way to go about this is like, here I have my title, which is capital cities of the world. Here I have Paris, and I can say the city I grew up in. Okay, that's a nice personal touch. I can upload an image of my own, or I can search for an image using our database. This one, our database should be able to have something pretty straightforward. Okay, the Eiffel Tower. Maybe I want something more subtle. I'm going to take the street lamp. And then let's keep this short for now, but I can enter my keyword of Copenhagen. And maybe I want to upload my own personal thing. Copenhagen. I should have something. Nope. All right, so I'll just upload an image. But if I had my own thing, I would just upload that. And I'm going to put in a hot dog because they love hot dogs here. And all right, so I can make as many keywords as I want. Then here I have my choice of worlds. We have lots of worlds to pick from and more coming. So, you know, for me as like a student, something like the haunted house, if that were the only thing available, would not appeal to me. But I personally love them all, so I'm going to pick them all. Makes me sound very superficial, but I picked my place, and you can see that like at each world has like a different capacity for memory spots, and that's because these are kind of selected spots, so that you don't have to create them yourself. And can you see my screen still?
No, I think you would have to reset the screen sharing again.
Okay, let me do that again.
Are you guys making these places yourselves, or is it like a preset from a different resource, or?
It's a combination.
Okay.
So we are using 3D assets that have been pre-built.
Okay.
And that, of course, we have the license to use and expand upon and integrate. But we are also creating a lot of original assets and a lot of in-house created worlds.
All right.
As well. So
nice.
now I can test what were my keywords. Paris and then Copenhagen. I can check myself right here.
Oh,
Congratulations. And now I can go to my progress and keep track of what I have tested. And that's a big one, I think, in studying smart. So just, kind of like Hermann's vision. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my question in regards to that, as you are, I guess, zooming into a separate section of that place by itself in the mall, can you go to that mall and then, I guess, at that certain station, you're being tested on what that station signifies. So you would have to fill in the blank. Can you do that way? Can you get tested that way?
Yes, if I'm understanding your question correctly. Yes. Oh, you mean because of that testing by filling, like inputting the keywords?
Yeah. So it seems that there was a place. Actually, there was a fill in the blank section, but can you actually go into the place and then the video leads you to that one station and then you just have to fill in the blank? Can you do that as well? Can they test you that way as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's sort of. Let me share my screen again.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the goal. I can hide the keywords.
All right.
So I can select. Oh, sorry. I think I'm messing up my share screen.
No, I see it. I see it well.
Okay. So I can basically toggle whether or not I have the words
Oh, so
on
it shows
or
or
off.
not. Okay, good. Yeah, that was my big question. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, so I think we've hit not all, obviously, because there's a million features plus a million more features we want to have. But I think we've hit a lot of the key points in terms of like what we've been working on, and obviously the goal of this is to make it better and to make it something that people can really benefit from. And so that's where now I think we turn to you and really want to know what your thoughts are, where this could go, and who comes to mind, what comes to mind.
Yeah, so first of all, I really like the software. I like, so one of the I guess the best features that I saw in this software is the fact that you can navigate yourself as if you're the person. So first person point of view, navigating yourself through many of the macro stations around that one big memory palace, that one big world, so that you can actually choose which place to actually use, and then incorporating that picture just to help you make maybe more associations. That's very good. And in terms of, let's see, what I would add onto this, so I guess you mentioned the idea of virtual reality, making this very compatible to a lot of users, making it very user-friendly for desktop users, laptop users, possibly iPad users. I'm not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this works on iPad as well. If you go onto the website, right? Is that right?
The web tool.
The web tool, yes. Okay. And in terms of virtual reality, I think that it's totally okay if it's not compatible yet, because this is something that you want to master with, in terms of all of the new places that are going to be formed. And I'm looking forward to all of the new places that you guys are gathering. It seems that there's almost unlimited resources for or potential for what we can do in this website. I would like to download the actual software. I'm not sure how to do that. Can you teach me how to do that as well?
Absolutely. Maybe I can do it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's very simple. So basically, what you do is that you go to our website, memorix.dk.
Okay.
And then you scroll down, and then you get to a section that says that you can download the desktop version.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm trying to do that right now. So memorix.dk, right?
Yes.
Okay. Memorix.dk.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. And
Is it called
you
Creator
scroll
Tool?
down. Yes,
exactly. The desktop
you
creator
have
tool.
got it.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't see that. So awesome. Thank you for that. So now I'm downloading it.
Oh, it's your usual. Yeah, there you go.
Never mind, it works. Okay.
Yep.
And
then try and go to my content.
Okay, my content.
And then now it's empty. You can click create new.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah, take one of these that you want to try out. Yeah.
Oh, but can I navigate myself through content made by other people?
Yes, it should be possible to do that. Yeah.
Okay, so all content. Let's go to this place. So diabetes type 2.
Yeah.
Start learning.
Yeah.
Downloading right now, and then. Okay, so now that I'm here.
Yeah.
You want me to click on create? Is that right?
Yeah. We can click create. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
And now you can navigate. So either you can click where you want to go. You can see the dot there on the floor, or you can use the keys.
Okay, so WASD is how you navigate around this place. Going up the
and
stairs.
then you move the mouse to rotate the camera.
Okay. Wow, very nice. These places are very detailed, which is really nice. Definitely can make a lot of memory palaces in this place.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think so, because these places are really unique. What I strive for in every memory palace is uniqueness. I've never seen wallpapers that have like Mickey Mouse here.
Yeah.
And plus I can probably recreate a story in this room by itself to make it more visually, I guess, appealing as well as more memorable for me. So it's good. It's very good. I mean, this is a chained window. This is a very unique window in my opinion. So it's good. It's good. Yeah, thank you for showing me this. And so now,
of course.
So now as I go back, how do I go back? Let me see.
Just wait a second. It's because now you can go back.
Oh, there you go. So, just waiting for it to load. Okay.
So if you say cancel, then you want to go back. Then you click the left button, left mouse. That one. Sorry, left arrow.
Okay.
And then you get to the overview, and you can go my content, and you can click create new, and then you can choose between the library of words that is there.
Very nice.
It takes a little bit of second. So.
Sorry
and then
if
you
I'm
have
taking.
the word. That's fine.
Yeah, sorry if I'm taking much of your time. Do you guys have another meeting coming up or anything like that today?
I got time.
Time. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here in Denmark it's 5 p.m. now, so
okay,
it's perfectly fine. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
it's a little bit
maybe it's just my internet. So right now I'm just clicking onto my content, and now it's just loading. Maybe there's just a lot of places. Yeah, there's just a lot of places to go over.
Yeah.
And this whole load routine, I think we need to optimize a lot here. Those words are heavy, and I think they get loaded in one chunk. So I think we need to optimize that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Very nice. Seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 18 worlds so far, and then more are coming up soon.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for showing me this. Is there anything else that that you want to share regarding the software?
No, I think maybe the only thing that we haven't talked so much about is, there's two things. So one thing is that this is what you see right now. Next on our roadmap is that we want to connect the two, of course. So that all the worlds that you create, the memory journeys that you can freely create also in the desktop tool, that you have access to that on your mobile phone and in the website, so that you have easy and fast access to it. And then additionally, we are exploring opportunities, as you talked with with Alli about with the VR. So how can you visit the same worlds in VR and navigate them there to get even more immersion? And one of the other experiences that we are exploring right now is also instead of navigating these 3D worlds that we are offering, we are exploring if we could integrate with Google Street View so that you could move around in Google Street View and use the same method of creating memory palaces within Google Street View so that you can go wherever you want in the world and create your own memory palaces.
Street View, wow. On Google, wow. That would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Google Street View, I mean, the
Do you think this is
there.
exciting that we take Google Street View and that you can go to, I don't know, Philippines and take your route there and then put something in there? Do you think this could work?
I think it can work. You know, the satellite information can only grab as much information as it can, you know, from outside homes. I know that we probably just can't enter homes, of course, but I think that it's possibly great. I'm not sure because I really like inside of rooms better than outside. So that's my intake towards memory palaces, and Anthony Metavir's intake too. But a lot of people do use the outside world. It's just that the outside world is very chaotic, which is why a lot of memory veterans do not use the outside world for memory palaces. But it is possible for sure. So like this room is very unique in general, and I would totally utilize this room. But if there was an outside world, so outside of this house, if there's a lot, there could be too much information for me to handle. So that's why inside of rooms you can make a storyline that would, you know, follow a clockwise direction here, which would suffice around 9 or maybe 5 to 9 piece of new information. So that would be my intake, my feedback towards how you can optimize this software. But
that's really good to hear. Thanks for sharing. That's,
yeah. No problem. Let's see. Anything else you guys might want to, you know, share in terms of what you might want to show in the future as well? So you mentioned the idea of possibly virtual reality compatibility, Street View from Google Maps.
And then there's something about uploading your own videos. I don't know, not a lot of people have 3D cameras yet, but just like uploading videos, you know, like on the website, these are the recorded videos of 3D worlds. So I'm not sure if people would be interested in, you know, going with a camera through their house or to, you know, a possible memory palace in the real world and then record that. And then, you know, our software works on top of that. So you could pause and say, this is a memory spot, and I could put text in it. Do you think this would be interesting?
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. I didn't think of that. So by using the 360 camera, you can incorporate your own place and then put it into this software. That's amazing. Yeah,
so,
I would.
So
Theoretically, you wouldn't even need a 3D camera. You could. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can do with a basic smartphone, iPhone camera to create pretty hi-fi volumetric capture. So, like, yeah, there's a lot of interesting routes that we could go on the AR route.
I see a lot of potential in doing that. I can see a lot of potential because it took me a long time to actually gather places so I can use it. So I will go onto YouTube, for example, and look at a lot of 360 view of rooms. And it would take me hours and hours to find these preset places for me to actually use, gather them into a Discord channel, and then just use it when I need to. And, you know, sometimes, you know, to be honest, I actually spend a whole day straight just finding preset template memory palaces. So if you guys could, you know, have that set out for us, that makes our life much easier, and for us to really focus on new information, allowing for example, the medical students who say that it's like going to the gym to make memory palaces. You're just making it very, very easy for us. And, you know, I really appreciate the effort involved in this. I see the high potential for this. So
thank you. That means a lot coming from you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your hard work.
well, I need to run, but please continue with the others. It was great talking to you, and I look forward to continue the conversations with you.
Yeah, of course. It probably seems that we're going to an end anyways, but I really appreciate all of your effort. Is there anything else you guys want to mention at all?
I have one last question, and this is: what if people don't have like 360 opportunities or possibilities? What if you walk just with your phone and the camera and record like a video of your surroundings on your house, and then basically having a video and putting the items into those stops on the video? Would this work, or is this just too little immersive?
I would say that is totally acceptable as well. I think that 360 cameras are awesome. It's very, I guess, easy to manage after you implement it into the software. But if you do a video, making sure that you cover all aspects of the room, I think that it's still appropriate, because I would personally still use it as long as I can follow that pathway in a logical formation. So, for example, for a person going into a room like this, I would always recommend to, like, so exiting from the door, coming in from the door, and then video recording while walking in a clockwise direction, and then at the end of the video, you would have a good picture of the whole room from a corner, so from an upper corner right here. So you're like kind of holding the camera towards the ceiling right here, making sure you cover the whole room. And so having that whole video, but also just a quick picture of the whole room, can allow us to have a full perspective of the room as we are creating the memory palace. So I would suggest that to be a very efficient way of, doing finding a memory palace template rather than doing the 360. So those two options definitely very good. I would vouch for it for sure.
Great, thank you. That's really, really good to have this information. Very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, nice. And I mentioned that. So I mentioned the idea of microstations and macrostations. I don't think maybe. Do you guys are familiar with that? I'm assuming, or I just wanted to quickly mention that macrostations are like just big places here. So like, it seems that one macrostation could be this area, and then a microstation would be the number 5. So very specific to that small area. And a microstation would be that. I don't know if you guys want to categorize that at all, but it doesn't matter. It seems that this is very, very easy to understand, very user-friendly. But I just wanted to just clarify what I said before when I was talking about macrostations and microstations.
And I didn't know it before, but I think I understood it correctly, and it resonates with me, because I think what we have seen that users are also creating, they want to have like an overview, like kind of a map-like view at some point at the end or in the beginning or so, before they actually go then into the different spots. So maybe that's a similar thing, that you have like a cutoff of a bigger area and then you go into the smaller area. Yes. I think it helps your brain to structure better. It's like, that's why people are probably fond of maps and stuff. It helps you putting a structure in, right?
Yeah. I totally agree. It's definitely very useful. This is a very useful tool for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Well, we appreciate you spreading the word.
Okay.
Especially right now with the lockdown, it's really hard to, get out there and engage with students. So, as a startup, we're sort of trying to find different ways of this tool is free to use right now. So we're also looking at different ways in which to reach people to use this platform as much as possible, and also finding ways that we can make this better for everyone.
And I actually always try to find softwares like this to find templates to incorporate into my memory palace. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Markung's VR. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah, I've heard about that, yes.
So I've used that software before. I tried their VR version as well, and personally I think it's not user friendly. It's very difficult to actually use in general. It seems that I was trying to click on many things to create one place, and it actually took me around 3 hours to just make one memory palace. And it seems to be very difficult to actually add, like these microstation like text right here. So I would say that this software makes it very, very easy for me to make a memory palace. So thank you very much for that. It's very easy to use in comparison to all of the other memory palace related software. So thank you very much for that.
No, you're welcome. And this is actually one of the things that we are really focusing on, to be user-friendly and really accessible for the majority of users. The situation that we're currently in now, after all in all, only 8 months of development time, that it's probably a natural thing, but most of the users that come to our website, they don't go deeper. I don't know, they just want to check out or browse things, but it's also difficult to get the message out and to get the accessibility. So I think we're at a typical startup in this very early stage, where we need people who have a high affinity, for example, for memory palaces, or that the software resonates like with you. And then I think it's this kind of ambassador program, or people that are like early adopters, I think they are called, that we are looking currently, because for the majority of users at this point in time, I think it's going to be too abstract, if you will. So on our mission to make the world embrace memory palace and these clever techniques that actually work for everyone, I think this is just a very early step. So I think we keep working on the user friendliness and try to communicate also to people who are not familiar with the technique, to get more people embrace that. And it's our ambition to keep that platform completely free. The subscription, as we have currently in our head, at some point we need to earn money, and then a subscription at some point is probably more towards added features or special features, or maybe professional content creators create. Somebody who creates like a world might want to charge money if you want to download that, which in my opinion is totally fine if there's a lot of work going into that and if it's really useful for people. But the baseline of content and everything that the users create, we plan to keep it for free, because I think this is also the value in a community platform, that on one hand side people create, and on the other hand people can learn with it and then change and adapt. So that's the grander vision.
Okay, and do you know how many people, how many users there are as of right now for Memorix?
Oh, there's a very small amount. Actually, we only launched around 8 weeks ago officially. Before that, there were a lot of tests. So we did the test with around 500, 600 students here in Copenhagen. So we have a long mailing list, but actual users out of our mailing list, I think it's probably 200, 250.
Okay, wow, yeah, nice.
So very few, and something that we need to fix as well is that it seems like people don't like to publish, as if they feel that their memory palace is private or something. So this is something that maybe it's also not, people are maybe not aware of, that they can create and publish for others. We have heard that a couple of people are unsure what that sharing function is. So a lot of people believe that this is just something that you can use on your own. So probably a communication problem, as well as something that people believe their memory palaces are private to them, so they don't want to share that.
Oh, so it's possible to make it private to yourself?
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, exactly. Everything that you create is actually private for yourself. You have to publish it to the for others to benefit on what you have created.
So I think that the reason why many people would probably private some of their memory palaces is because maybe it might be too violent. It might be considered too violent or very, very scary in terms of the, what the storyline is. I know that. So I created hundreds of memory palaces, and I make them private to myself just because it's a lot of political incorrectness. So it's not politically correct at all. So it might offend people if I tell people what the storyline of my memory palaces are. But not all of them are very bad. But I'm saying that I made it very, very violent or very, very not politically correct just because it helps me remember. But I think that would be the only reason why people would probably private it, though.
And I think you're absolutely right with that. We talked to a memory champion here in Denmark quite recently, and he said is the best way to memorize is to provoke emotions or to create because everything that's boring is like not really valuable for your brain. So if you create emotions, that's the best way to remember. And he actually says everything related to sex, crime, violence is something that our brains immediately react on it.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why this is good for memorization.
Yeah.
And probably bad for public.
Yeah, bad for the public, but if it triggers your episodic memory, it's definitely going to be incorporated into your long-term memory somehow. Because having a traumatic past, for example, the scene pretty well, so that's why things like that really works out. I'm going to teach my audience on how to find a download link. Some people are asking about the download link. I'll teach you guys how to use that, how to click onto where to click onto that. I see that other people have been asking questions regarding Anki. Have you guys heard of Anki? It's a flashcard application.
Anki flashcards, yeah.
Yes, so they're asking if it's possible that eventually in the future that you can make this compatible with Anki. So with the I guess the separate microstations that you assign new information to, if it's possible to have a whole like a system that makes it compatible to Anki in the future. Maybe that's something that you might want to consider. I think it's a great idea, but it's not going to be the most important probably because you want to make as many templates, the memory palace templates as you can. So it's an idea that we thought about a couple of months ago already, because Anki has this accessible database that has all these flashcards information if people want to share that, and then we could maybe tap into that. So I just as an experiment, I downloaded a complete set of anatomy flashcards from Anki, which was relatively simple. But all we need to do is producing an interface into that so that people can directly import that, which is complicated in itself. But it's also we only very recently started to talk about intellectual property rights and how to get people to cooperate or to use our software to put it on there. It's probably something that has to be, behind a login or something for specific content. I think then maybe if this is in a more controlled environment, then maybe we can get an agreement with Anki or somebody else. But we have very recently looked into that. It's also somebody had the idea of getting these game worlds into making memory palace out of that. And I think for people spending a lot of time in those game worlds, then it sticks great in your head. I don't know how that works, but I think it starts with talking to the owners of those worlds and talking about intellectual property. Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. I want to thank you very much for talking to me about Memorix. I think I spent like maybe 1.5 hours of your time, so thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate all the information you put out for Memorix. And if I were to rate this, I would say this is an absolute 10 out of 10 in terms of the potential it has for many students around the world. I would vouch for this software, and I'm going to do my part in trying to recommend this to others. So thank you very much, Herm KUD, and as well as clpng, as well as your other co-worker as well. So thank you very much.
And thank you very much for having us and your interest and your kind words. This is really good to hear.
Also, I'm clipping, and I'm probably like the most active of me and my coworkers on Discord. So totally feel free to add me as a friend. I'm super friendly. So I know that there's other people on here. Feel free to add me. I'm always happy to chat.
Okay.
And provide updates on what we're working on.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, feel free to always ask me if you want me to, provide any additional feedback or anything like that. I'm more than happy to talk to you more about, what I can add, into the software. If you want me to, play a role in how the software works as well. I'm not a coder, so I really can't help with coding, but if you want me to help out with anything in particular in terms of ideas, I'm more than happy to help you out.
Thank you very much. I think we will use that, especially if you use the software a little bit more, maybe then, a couple of annoying things or things that could be faster or quicker or something. This would be really, really helpful. And you as a professional, when it comes to building memory palace technique, then if you could give us hints, what worlds would work better aside. So definitely, I will pick you up on that offer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to make some places, and absolutely feel free to look at those places and see what what examples I have that works out for me, and see how it can be utilized effectively for many other students as well. I'm going to try to share a lot of the current memory palaces that I have already, and then just see how it works out in this. So yeah, thank you very much again.